Hi, I'm Lisa Poff, Program Coordinator with the Indiana Deafblind Services Project, and I'm here today with Lisa Piercy. She's an occupational therapist in Indiana with advanced, what was that again?
Advanced Children's Therapy.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here to talk with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I was thinking, we did this training yesterday and there were some strategies presented, and I wondered if you could tell us about a time when you might have used one of those strategies with a child and how you knew when that child really got what you were trying to do.
I was thinking about one of my little ones, and she has complex challenges. So she not only has cortical visual impairment, but she also has feeding issues, motor issues, significantly high tone, non-ambulatory. And one of the things that I learned from her just as a little one, that she loved music and she loved movement. So we would play this game where I put her on my lap, and she wouldn't respond to every song, but she would respond to, "There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name." Oh, so we would bounce to the song, 1, 2, 3, stop, and wait, and wait. And I instruct her, if you want more, turn and look at me. Just look in my direction. We'd wait. All of a sudden, she'd turn. And that was her cue for me to go on. And I'd sing the next verse of the song, and the same thing. If you want more, turn and look at me. And she would wait, and she'd turn. And eventually that routine got faster and faster. And actually we started that particular routine with the beginning of each of our visits together. So that became what she and I did together, and she knew me, that I was going to sing the song and going to bounce her. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, and that's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is exciting.
But the aha moment, excuse me, but the aha moment was when she finally learned that she had to turn and look at me, and then I would switch directions to ensure that she was using both sides of her body and going the other direction as well. But I recall having another therapist come in soon after that and had no idea that she understood the question if she wanted more of something. So that was an aha for the therapist as well as for the little one.
Oh yes, that's great. So then, did the therapist start doing the same kind of thing with her?
Well, that was kind of my greeting.
It was your thing. Did she get her own? Did she develop her own with
her?
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting too. That's neat. So when you go in and work with a family, how do you help that parent prioritize what that child needs? I mean, they have a list, I'm sure, but some things are clearly more important than others. Do they know, or do you help them figure that out?
What I find when I first meet a family is they're typically overwhelmed with their child's needs, overwhelmed with this new set of therapists and people and visitors into their home, coming within their personal space. So I try to ease that transition and ensure that we have a trusting relationship between the two of us, and just kind of watch that parent and their child interact and play together. And as they're playing and letting the child just get used to this new person in their home, I will ask the parent, tell me some wonderful things about your child. What is it that you love most about your child? And then get into what's the most challenging aspect of your day, or where do you feel like you need help from me? Because that's where we want to focus our attention. So that's usually how I start. And then you kind of can't address everything every day, but I can come in and we can work on specific routines or areas in their life that are challenging.
That's great. And that works. Do you have problems with any parents who really are wanting to push for more? Do you need to pull them back from that and say, this is the best amount for your child?
I think you get a lot of that, at least some of the time, because they only want what's very best for their child, and we're only there an hour, and as you and I both know, the most learning that takes place is going to be in the other 23 hours of that day and the other 6 days of the week. So they're going to be their primary child's teacher and advocate. So if I can share a golden nugget with them that they can carry out the next week, and then follow up on that same thing, and gently and slowly bring in more routines and activities that they can do with their child and feel successful about it.
Right, because that getting success is really important for them.
And they know their child the best. They're the ones that know the child the best, so I've got to trust them to help me because they're the ones that are going to lead the way.
So when you're working with children, I know you do some assessments to try to determine kind of a baseline for where that child is developmentally. Is there anything in particular that you use?
I'm an occupational therapist in Indiana in their early intervention program. So in our state, we have an assessment team that first comes out and works with the child and the family, and they use the AEPS, which is the Assessment, Evaluation, and Programming System for Infants and Children. Therefore, we use the acronym AEPS. And so they are able to share information about that child's developmental level in multiple domains. It could be their adaptive, their social communicative, their motor skills, probably missing one. But in general, we get a good feel for their overall development. And that's what I use. And then other times there are other professionals that may come in and add additional visual or hearing assessments, functional assessments, so that we can get even a broader picture of that child.
Right. And that's what then everyone in the state is using, that particular
That tool,
particular tool.
the
Yeah.
AEPS, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. One more thing, and think about maybe some situations where you've actually been working with families. How do you coach a parent in how to follow the child's lead when they're working with them and trying to do some of the things that you provide for them to work with them?
First of all, with coaching, I would affirm, like I said before, that they know their child the best, and I am just there to facilitate what they already do and to help them learn best of how their child interacts with their environment and with the people in their environment. So if you're thinking of children that are hearing impaired or visually impaired, already we have two major sensory systems that are not working at full capacity. And it's really, really important to share with those families that there are other ways that that child can communicate with them and interact with them. So in coaching them, it's first affirm who they are and their role with that child and how wonderful they are, and just even affirming them for letting us come into their home, because that is a big deal. Second of all, just sharing with them, okay, what are other sensory systems that this child can use, and helping them see a small motor movement, or helping them see a change in the child's tone, or helping a child or the parent see just an eye gaze one way or the other, even if it's fleeting. So just that, how does that child communicate? And then we're going to take what that child is showing us and provide an environment where they can show us even more. So it's important to have environments where the child can respond. So making something user-friendly for the child so that they are successful, and then the parents can see just how that child can shine. It just sometimes takes more time and a lot more repetition, and building them into their routines of the day, so you don't do an activity just for an activity base. It's part of something that's important to them. Bath time, dressing, diapering, feeding, so that we incorporate that part of the day, playing with their siblings. Sometimes it's so fun to coach the parent to how to help the older sibling interact with their new brother or sister that has these complex challenges.
Right, just the idea that they need to play too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. And how they can use touch where it is a friendly touch and not something that would be startling to the child, and work on what part of the body should they touch, what type of pressure should they use when they're touching, temperature, all these things that we kind of take for granted, that it's really challenging for our children with multiple impairments to understand that. But if they build that into routine and they repeat it and it's part of their day, then they're going to be much more successful. So I just try to push that. That's how you coach, I guess.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here today. It was wonderful.
Thank you very much, Lisa.